Hi, I'm Megan O'Quinn with iCEV. I'm the Vice President of Curriculum and Instruction, and I've been in the ed tech industry for almost 18 years in various capacities where I've worked with educators and instructional designers alike to help create valuable learning experiences for the middle school classroom and career and technical education. I'm super excited to show you our technology applications for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade courses that we've developed for Proclamation 2024. These offerings can all be found on the iCEV middle school package. In terms of thinking of the design of the iCEV technology applications courses, they're all going to follow a similar layout and structure just to really help promote a cohesive learning environment for each grade level. The TEKS, or those Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills for each grade, are similar, and therefore we really just tried to level the instructional design and utilize Bloom's taxonomy to help differentiate between the depths of the lessons within the courses. For instance, if you were looking at a lesson in the 6th grade course, which is what's on your screen right now, it's really going to focus more on introducing concepts and challenging students to remember and understand, while a 7th grade lesson is going to promote students to really dig in and understand the content and then apply that understanding. And then from an 8th grade perspective, those lessons are going to require students to apply that content and then analyze it through projects and activities within the lesson. So for each of these 3 courses, there's really 6 main areas or general topics that all of the lessons are going to focus on. So technological problem solving, technology use, Google applications, media production, and tech apps challenges, and career exploration. And so just to kind of dig in a little bit on what each of those topics are talking about, when we mention technological problem solving, that's going to encompass computational thinking, the innovative design process, looking at the history of technology and how technology usually comes about to solve a problem. From a technology use perspective, looking at keyboarding skills, there's going to be some bell ringers throughout all of the lessons within the tech apps curriculum that are just keyboarding drills that students can complete to really hone up those particular skills. Also digital citizenship, looking at data, programming, and then using technology to research and ethical applications of technology use. From a Google perspective, we're going to talk about managing files with Google Drive, utilizing Google Docs, slides, and sheets. So they are getting some of those computer application specific components within each of the courses. And then diving into media production. So looking at graphic design, video production, and audio production. Also, throughout each of the courses, there's going to be a bit of career exploration sprinkled in the form of connecting to careers lessons, which are career interviews with different industry professionals that have careers within technology. So that could be a computer scientist, a video game designer, a videographer. So just trying to help students make that connection of if they're really enjoying being within this technology applications area, that could lead to a career for them in the future. And then finally, there's going to be our tech apps challenges, which appear in each of the courses. So each course is going to contain 10 tech apps challenges, which can serve as mini capstone type projects. And they're going to require students to evaluate various technologies and then to create the item they've been challenged with within that lesson prompt, and utilize that innovative design process that they've learned in the course. If we're thinking about how else the courses are really differentiated from each other, we went with a general theme for each of the courses and the types of projects that we're having students do. So in 6th grade, many of the projects and the tech apps challenges are really going to focus on students learning more about themselves and their classmates. Whereas in 7th grade, those projects are going to focus on promoting school spirit or their student interests in sponsored clubs or activities that exist within the school. And then in 8th grade, the focus of the project really shifts to be focused on career exploration and future career interests. And one of the reasons we wanted to focus on this within those 8th grade projects is to help offer some cross-curricular opportunities if students were also enrolled in a career and college exploration course. So just trying to offer a little bit of that career exploration piece with the use of technology. And if they are in that other course, just tie those two courses together to help out with that. So now that you understand the layout of each of those different grade levels of course, I want to walk you through each of the courses just to kind of give you a better idea of the layout of a few of the lessons and show you how everything comes together holistically. So if you're looking at any of the courses, whether that be the 6th, 7th, or 8th grade course, the layout of any of them is going to be the same. So right now you're looking at the lessons page, and you can think of the lessons as the different chapters of a traditional textbook if you wanted to make that comparison. And so each of the lessons would be listed here. If you want to see how all of these lessons come together to meet the different TEKS, we have a TEKS alignment document that's going to appear over here. It's going to offer you a suggested pacing guide. So this first page here is really just going to show you the order of the lessons as they appear in that playlist, and then a summary of which TEKS are met in each lesson, and then the approximate number of days of teaching that go along with each of those lessons. And if you keep scrolling, it's going to really spell out which TEKS are met within each lesson. So just nice to be able to see which TEKS you're hitting on whenever you're working within a specific lesson within iCEV. So then once you've looked at those different pieces, you have all of your different lessons that show up in that course playlist for you. And so there's really 3 different types of lessons that can appear within iCEV. So you have a video lesson, which would show up in the video player here. You can have a strictly PowerPoint lesson, which that PowerPoint is going to pop up in the viewing area here. Or you can have a hybrid lesson, which is what all of those Google lessons are, where there's a PowerPoint that walks through some of the content. And then if you move to the next piece, it's going to be a video component as well. So utilizing both of those media types. So regardless of which lesson you're looking at within iCEV, there's going to be some commonalities between how they're all laid out. So the content is always going to appear here in this content viewing area. You're always going to have a lesson plan. So this lesson plan is going to appear up here. And if we click on that, it will open for us. So this is going to be a lesson that is in our HTML format, meaning that you've got some flexibility and some features that go along with it. So if you needed to translate anything that's within this particular format, you can utilize the translate option up here. So if we needed to take this into Spanish, we can come over here and choose Spanish from the list. And then if we needed to take that back to English, we can come here and change that back to English. So the lesson plans are all going to be laid out the same. Start out with that lesson overview, providing a goal, description, and the objectives. And then each class day is going to have a couple of sections that I think are super important. The first is this class overview. So if you need to make sure that you only have items that the students need to view for that particular day of teaching visible to them, you can look at that class overview, and that is going to list all of those different options. You're also going to have the essential questions, or what are those big ideas you're covering within that class day. And then suggestions for bell ringers and exit tickets for each of the class days that are listed within the lesson plan. Another component is within each of the different activities and projects for any of those special populations you might have in your class. We've added accommodations, modifications, and extensions to those projects and activities that we provide. So if we go back out to the lesson page here, if you were looking for any of those pieces, there's two headings: instructional materials and interactive assignments. If you click on that drop down for instructional materials, it's going to have the resources, handouts, key concepts, and then all of the activities and projects, as well as the assessments that go along with that particular lesson. So if you were looking for this moving documents project, you could click on that. This is going to be in that same HTML format. So if you're needing to do any of those translation pieces. And then one other thing that's really great is if you highlight,
you will utilize.
There is a text to speech function that comes up that will read it to students. Then if you're looking for those interactive assignment components, those are going to be underneath the interactive assignments heading. So this is where anything that appears within iCEV can either be uploaded for teacher grading or graded automatically through our system. So anything that is, let's see here, key concepts, that would be something that there's always a definitive right answer. So those could be completed by the students and then would automatically be graded by iCEV. So that would be your key concepts. Also this matching vocabulary handout, if there's one in a particular lesson, same type of thing for assessments. But if you do have a project where the student is creating a file and they needed to upload it, that could then be uploaded and then graded through the iCEV system by you. You'll also notice that there's a lot of different checkboxes, and that's where that class overview comes in really handy, so that you can set only what is needed to be visible to students on a particular day. The same layout, if it's a video lesson, you will have a transcript that appears beneath the video that students can follow along with. If you don't want the transcript to be visible, you can just click on that X and it's going to open that video to where it's just a little bit larger. Still with the lesson plan option up here at the top, your instructional materials heading, and then those interactive assignments that accompany the lesson. If you were looking at a PowerPoint lesson, you have the option to click through the PowerPoint here, or if you want the students to look at the outline, let's say that they were looking for a specific data type. So let's just put in bullying here. So anywhere that bullying shows up, they could just go and click and navigate through the PowerPoint to search some of those keywords or different items that they were looking for. Underneath that instructional materials heading, you're also going to have those same pieces of resources, handouts, key concepts, activities, projects, and assessments. One thing that I did forget to mention that's important to look at is the action plan. And this is going to accompany any lesson within iCEV. This is the student version of that lesson plan. So if you're needing something that's student facing, whether you're having a hybrid day or just want them to be able to be a little more self-paced throughout the course, those action plans are super helpful for that, and just lay out what they're supposed to do each class day, as well as have some different suggestions in there for what those exit tickets and bell ringers are based on what it says within the lesson plan. So again, same type of layout as we've looked at before. The last piece that I really wanted to walk through is just explaining those tech apps challenges that are going to appear in any of the courses. And so this one is one from our 6th grade course where the students are creating a podcast about their favorite hobby or activity. Now, these lesson plans are going to look a little different than the ones that are within the other lessons within iCEV, mainly because this is really more project-based versus content-based. So again, that step-by-step piece, but again, walking through that innovative design process of doing some research, creating your outline, writing, recording, looking at it from a reflection standpoint, and then having those accommodations, modifications, and extensions. Also accompanying each of those, there's going to be underneath this instructional materials heading, this project sheet. This is something that students can use and be given so that they know exactly what they're supposed to be doing. They can fill in the due dates for the different portions. This is where those terms that appear in the innovative design process are going to show up, of defining the problem, completing research, developing that outline, recording, evaluating, improving, iterating, and then sharing. And there's also going to be that rubric there that can help you with grading any of those challenges that exist. So those are the main pieces that exist within an iCEV course. So if we go back out here and look at all of this, again, all of these lessons and options allow you to really dig in and provide students with a solid foundation across the different types of technologies that are available for those technology applications courses.